Bruins win 4-3 against the San Jose Sharks. Welcome back to Into the Den, and I'm your host Jay Freeman. And this game was a pretty good. This game was. There were things that I liked about this game. There were things that I didn't like about this game. But first of all, I have to tell you guys that this was a little bit of a more sloppy game in terms of what I had to notes on, because I really just had to skim through this because for the entire game, because while I would have loved to watch this game, I was at Gillette Stadium watching the New England Patriots take on the New York Jets. Patriots won 54-13. That was fun. It's always fun to watch people. It's always fun to watch football teams put up 50 points, especially on the Jets. Fuck the Jets. Anyway, we had Linus Ullmark starting in net for the second game in a row versus Aiden Hill for the Sharks, and we didn't really have to stop. We didn't really have to wait too long to get the first game to get the first goal of the game. Remember the first goal of the Buffalo game where Pasta had to clear it out from behind, where no wait, hold on, I'm trying to remember. It was Pasta clearing it out from behind in the net. Bergeron, Marchand putting it, Marchand taking it and passing it to Bergeron, and he takes a slap shot that puts it up, that puts the Bruins up 1-0. Yeah, that happened 28 seconds into this. Just rotate the lines so it's Marchand clearing the puck, Bergeron putting it so that Pasta slaps it in, and with that, Pasta made his 48th first goal of the game in his career, and in the time span of Pasta's first game back in October of 2014 to now, only one player has had more game starting goals than that, and that is Brad Marchand with 50. But this was what is it? This also was the season debuts of two different players that we've been thinking of in Providence. Those being Oscar Steen and Jack Studnicka. Studnicka ended up taking up the fourth line center, pretty much pushing Nosek anywhere that that Bruce Cassidy felt he wanted to play, and Steen ended up taking up the third line in right wing, usually where Nick Foligno plays, but sorry about that. Just 1 second. But a little bit later on, like 2 or 3 minutes later, Pasta just does this crazy spin move, and it allows for a small passing game between and he takes the puck that he's spinning around with, and he puts it to Marchand, to Clifton, to Marchand, and then all the way, and then across the blue line, laterally, like so. Here's the blue line, here's Marchand, here's Clifton, and then here's Derek Forbort. Marchand passes it up to Forbort, and then Forbort just and snipes it in from almost on the blue line, and 2-0, 2-0 Bruins. And it was at this moment where Jack Edwards decides to spawn something freaking hilarious. The Sharks have just given up 2 goals in 5 minutes to a team. It's when they invested more than a third of their cap space into 3 players, and all 3 players are on their defense. Brent Burns, Eric Carlson, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic. All of them hilariously on the right side of the defense. Sorry, but really throughout the game, Trent Frederick decided to chirp Middleton on the Sharks. They were getting a little bit chatty throughout the game. But what was pretty what I noticed really was the beyond the fact that we took 2 penalties in a row, a sort of iffy call on Nosek for Tomas Nosek for tripping, and a high sticking call on McAvoy that was blatant. That was pretty freaking obvious. I mean, come on, Chucky, you can't smack Logan Couture in the head with a stick. Okay, you're not Adrian Peterson. Okay, but and I mean, he didn't even do it that hard. It was just it's kind of a doink. But I mean, you can't really put your stick up that high. But the Bruins actually had really good defense in the first period, and a Brent Burns interference call by just shoving Taylor Hall to the ice and practically laying on him, set up a power play that lasted a long and drawn out 12 seconds. That power play really lasted 12 seconds. And Bergeron really early on and just barely missed the snipe. It like went right off the post, and then from McAvoy and Bergeron passing, it got to Pasternak, who slapped it in for a 1-time hammer, 3-0 Bruins. But afterwards, the Bruins defense starts to show a little bit of a few cracks. Barabanov and Weatherby decide to I don't know what line they are. I think they're like the second line in a, or rather, I think they're either second line or third line in San Jose, if I'm not mistaken. But they just have a lot of chemistry together, and they're able to pass it better than really I've seen in a lot of the Bruins players pass it. And like really with Bruins players is you want the puck? I'm gonna forecheck it. You go get it. Whereas Weatherby and Barabanov, they were like perfectly in sync, and Weatherby snipes, just gets it right in a small crease between Ullmark and the net and the post. Ullmark can't bring his arm down in time. 3-1 Bruins. And that pretty much takes us to the end of the first period. And then, but speaking of the Bruins passing, in the second period, it shows that actually happening, actually going well for them, as Forbort and Steen, like Steen checks it up to Forbort, who who decides to send it down the ice where Jake DeBrusk vaguely is DeBrusk turns on the Jets and just snipes it right above Vaden Hill to put the lead to 4-1. And it was at this moment where the Sharks are like, shit, buddy, we're taking you out. We're putting good old James Reimer in. And Bruins fans know a lot about James Reimer, and giving up three goals in a span of 10 minutes. But the Bruins after that goal seemed to really just put the car in neutral. And the good part is that they really put it in neutral with like 100 miles an hour. So they were good. They were good for now. They were still having good puck control. And we had a bit of a scrum between Connor Clifton and Nick Bonino, started by Mario Ferraro pretty much tripping Clifton and then shoving Connor Clifton into Nick Bonino. And the two of them just drop gloves and start going at it on the floor. All three of Bonino ends up getting two minor penalties for roughing, two of which that he served and two of which were served by Jonathan Dahlen, and then two of them were for Clifton. And surprisingly, no fighting majors, and Jack Edwards had to exclaim that like Seattle has 6 fighting majors already, and they've played like 5-6 games. I don't know. Seattle, how do you lose in your home? How do you justify losing in your home opener, dude? But those penalties really just take us to the end of the second period, and the third period is where it definitely is obvious that we took the foot off the gas. As Freddie and Middleton decide to finish what they started, and after a shot, Freddie and Middleton pretty much get into a scrum over a loose puck. They take each other to the ground, and that is where the first Bruins fighting major is from. And honestly, I am not surprised. But after that, our defense just kind of gave up. Tomas Hertl ended up chipping one over Linus Ullmark for a 4-2 to cut the lead down to 2, and then Logan Couture with a little help from Timo Meier puts it in under with a redirection from Timo Meier, which ended up putting it under Ullmark's 5. Shoots it from the blue line, and that ends up as the last goal of the game. 4-3 Bruins, and neither team can really do much in the last 4 minutes. It was a fun game, but definitely it brings back the whole Bruins need to start playing a 60-minute game thing. Like you can't. This team showed us all that this is the same Bruins team. This is the same Boston Bruins, not entirely in terms of personnel, except for Pasternak, not Pasternak, Marchand, and except for Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron, because really after Krejci left, there's really no one else left from 2013 in here, except if we decide we want to re-sign Tuca. Really, there's not really. This is the same Bruins team that told us 10 minutes is too much time if you have 3 goals left. If you're up by 3 goals, you cannot take the foot off the gas. And the Bruins need to continue to, and the Bruins need to improve upon that if they want to be seen as legitimate cup contenders. That would do it for today's episode of the of Into the Den. But we have 2 bits of news that we need to talk about. That being Bob Newmeyer, former Hartford Whalers radio host, the guy who former racehorse announcer, and pretty much the guy that the dude that pretty much told the higher ups to the Hartford Whalers that to play Brass Bonanza as the goal horn, has sadly passed away at the age of 70 due to, if I'm not mistaken, complications with that were still lingering with a from a stroke that he suffered 5 years ago. Well, rest in peace, Mr. Newmeyer. Your contributions to the game of hockey will certainly never be forgotten. And then the second piece of news is that over $130,000 have been raised in a 50-50 raffle, entirely to benefit Jake Thibault. Jake Thibault is a former teenage hockey player who last time he was able to play, which was like at the beginning of 2020, at the beginning of the calendar year of 2021, or sometime. Hold on, I'm sorry for the unprofessionalism, but I will look it up right now. This happened. Oh wow, this was a lot more recent than I remembered. Jake Thibault, back in the beginning of September, suffered an injury to his spinal cord while playing hockey, and over $130,000 has been raised in a 50-50 raffle to benefit him. And I will be linked in the description of this video and in the comments. I will be linking in any resources I can, and such as his GoFundMe, and if I can find any way to find something for the 50-50 raffle, I will also put that in the description. But to help support Jake Thibault. But that is it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching Into the Den. And click like if you like, click subscribe if you like, and and despite the Sharks' best effort, we had a bigger boat this time.